So if LA couldn't get any creepier with all the problems with crime and homeless, I ran into this billboard on this lot. So this is a vacant lot for construction, and it says, "Live life deeper, 144 stories underground. You may never go outside again." It's so creepy. I'm wanting to know if this is real with this construction site right here, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills adjacent, a controlled access community, 24/7 security, residents only amenities, a new standard of sustainable living, but it's all underground. Live life deeper. The world's first and only completely subterranean residences. Terrifying. I feel like it's a horror movie. It's so creepy.
Silo Residences is all over the internet right now, so let's dig into what it is. This is the first ever residency that goes underground. I'm talking 144 stories deep. This is literally the future of living, and I'm here for it, honestly. I mean, they have markets, coffee shops, parks, these beautiful bedrooms, and everything in this space is 100% resident only. That sounds exclusive. And most importantly, they have resident porters that can regularly shop for you, get your groceries. I mean, do you know how much time that would save me? Sign me up! I have been on the website siloresidences.com for so long, just going down a rabbit hole because I'm so interested. Would you live here?
Realty Group, I am very excited to share with you our latest mandate. It is a first of its kind underground luxury condominium project that is going to change the way we all live in our underground world. This property has been meticulously designed to provide an exceptional living experience with unparalleled luxury and comfort. We understand that safety, security, and privacy are of utmost importance to residents. And this state-of-the-art facility has been designed with those principles in mind. Alongside the many styles of units, the property also features amazing amenities such as gardens, restaurants, cafeterias, theaters, and so much more. Remember, security is a priority. With a 24/7 security team and an advanced surveillance system, you can rest assured that you and your family will always be safe and secure in the condo complex. Thank you for taking the time to learn about this new exciting property. And we look forward to the opportunity of working with you. Live life deeper.
Shalom, Kahala Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi, B'Shem Qadash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about these videos we just watched. And before we get into that, I just want to, put it off the top that this is a TV show, right? When I first came across these videos, the first video you've seen in this lesson, I was captivated by what I seen, right? But especially by the, let me see if I can get back in that video, the 144 stories, right? 144, if you're, unaware, is it symbolic to the spiritual number of the people who are going to be saved, in the time of when the Lord comes back, right? 144,000 Israelites, right? Or plus the 1/3 of Israel, right? The 144,000 represents the elect, who are going to basically be the prophets, the teachers, the elders, the apostles, the people who are kind of like at the forefront of the Lord's magnificent work, right? The Great Gathering or the Great Commission. Now that being said, when I eventually found out this was a TV show, it changed the dynamics of this lesson, right? Because I honestly did think that Esau was going to start building a mass underground bunker, right? Because, all the scriptures that says that in the last days that all the people of resources are going to basically start to try to go underground to save themselves from the second coming of the Messiah, which we'll get into in a bit. But since this is just a TV show, I wanted to touch upon the aspects of how this actually touches upon reality, right? Because though Esau may not be building these underground living environments, right? It's been in the public lexicon for many years. There's shows like this. There's other shows. There's movies. It was a popular movie called The City of Ember. Really good movie. Has I think Dan Aykroyd is in it, but not Dan Aykroyd. The other guy, Bill Murray, right? And there's a lot of really good actors in the movie, but really good movie. Talks about basically what this show is about, right? It's a city of people who have went underground because some untold world cataclysmic event, and they stay there for hundreds of years, and then eventually they come out from underneath the city, but it's like a big secret type thing. So either way, good movie. But again, it just touches upon this belief that to live underground is safety, right? And why is that? Well, because you see, there is a deep-seated, I should say, feeling or understanding that to escape from the outside environment, that ultimately you could dig into hell, as the Bible refers to it, right? Dig down and make bases, right? Civilizations did this with the fallout shelters, right? In World War II, you got Edomites doing it today, right? The PayPal tycoon Peter Thiel built a massive underground base over in, I think, Australia or New Zealand, and then there's just tons of these military underground bases. But before we get into that, let's read this. This is Amos 9:2. Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. Now this here, like I said, is ultimately, it's a movie or a TV show from Apple, right? And here we'll just watch the trailer. But you can see here, this is how Esau believes the future can possibly be, right? It's a dystopian future, but it was a future chosen for, to save humanity, or at least a small pocket of it. Now, ultimately, Esau, this is a common thing. And the crazy thing is that main actor, that main Edomite with the glasses, he's in that movie City of Ember too. But in that movie, he plays the good guy, right? In this movie, I guess he's playing the bad guy. But the point being is that Esau has this notion of going underground, in his movies. This TV show here is from a popular book series. It's in the video games, like the Fallout, or the Fallout game series, right? Resident Evil had the Umbrella Corp was underground. You even have the popular movie The Matrix, right? The city of Zion was underground. Well, again, the reason why underground seems like it's a popular place is because you see, what is not being said is that the dangers are going to come from above, right? And what are those dangers? Well, these people in power, the Edomites, like to say, oh, it's solar burst, or it's pollution, or it's nuclear war, which those all can contribute. But the ultimate reason why why the judgment comes from outside is because it's the Lord's will, right? And the time that we're coming up close to, right, is the second coming of the Messiah, when the Lord himself is going to come back and actually visit the earth, and after that he's going to basically destroy all the kingdoms of the world. And like you just read here in Amos, right, it says, though they dig into where it says they dig into hell, right? Because you see, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to basically building these underground silos to try to get away from the coming judgment and the coming, some believe is the World War III nuclear annihilation that's coming, right? Which is more likely being orchestrated by the elites, right? Which I'm sure they believe it's going to be a controlled system, but the Lord's going to, one up them and basically have it, come upon their own heads, right? This is Isaiah 21:9. It says, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth, for fear of Yahawah, B'Shem Yahawashi, and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth, right? And shake terribly the earth refers to the nuclear annihilation that's going to happen upon the earth. You see, because it tells you, it prophesies in the Bible that before the second coming of the Lord, World War III is going to break out. And when World War III breaks out, it's going to end in the launching of these nuclear missiles. And that's when the Lord is going to show up, and he's going to save the 144,000 plus the 1/3 of Israel, right? And while the world goes through this terrible shaking, right, the Israelites are going to be taken up into these chariots, or so-called UFOs, to be saved. And we're only going to witness, Lord willing, that's us, we're only going to witness with our eyes the reward of the wicked. What is that reward? Well, being in the lake of fire, which is what America and the westernized NATO powers are going to resemble from space, right? They're going to look like a big lake that's just burning, and that's going to be the result of all that nuclear missiles and also the laser beams coming from these chariots, okay? And these underground bases, the majority of them aren't going to last, right? The earthquakes, and because again, you got to remember, when all these things hit America, not only is it going to be the nukes, the lasers from the chariots, but you got to remember that there's a gigantic underground volcano over there at Yellowstone, right? And it's about to explode. The caldera, which is basically the mound, which which the lava is underneath, it has already bulged up so much. And remember, back in 2000, I think it was 2017 or something. Just recently, last couple of years, you had a solar eclipse that went from the from the west coast of Babylon the Great, America, to the west coast of Babylon the Great. And this right here made this underground volcano, the Yellowstone volcano, even more active, okay? And then what's going to come next year? Well, next year in April is going to be where that solar eclipse is going to now come from the south of Babylon the Great to the north of Babylon the Great, which, by the way, is the exact same thing that happened in Nineveh when Jonah went to go prophesy over there. It didn't happen the same year, but when you look at the solar eclipse calendars from back in that day around Nineveh or Iraq, you had two solar eclipses that crossed each other, right? That basically X'd Nineveh out. Well, that exact same thing is going to happen here to Babylon the Great. And again, that takes place next year, April 2024, right? And as we get closer, I'll make a video lesson about it. But again, all these things are going to come together eventually when the Lord, brings forward his judgment to destroy Babylon the Great, which is America. And these underground bases aren't going to save Esau, right? The majority of them, that is, right? Because there are going to be some that do escape. Because when you look at, it tells you here, it says, underground bunker sites per Gov documents, one is an exact location of earthquake. No coincidences, thanks anon, right? Meaning, what this is like last year, there was a huge earthquake here in America, or in California. I think it was, last year. And it happened right where this red arrow's at. And that's over at the China Lake naval base, right? It says, by the way, the Cali earthquake's epicenter wasn't just near the naval weapons base at China Lake. It was the epicenter. It occurred 1 mile directly beneath it, right? So right here is where you could see that epicenter. Now, if you go back here, that location is linked up to all these other silos, or these sites of these DUMBs, deep underground military bases. And these locations here are all locations which have been recorded from government documents that show that there was construction in these areas, or just what was leaked. So this is the vast underground city that already exists underneath Babylon the Great. This is where the continuity of American government operates here, okay? And when you and here's another crappier map, but apparently this right here also shows pretty much the same locations of these underground bases. Now, this here video actually shows people or truckers supplying.
Hey, I never seen no shit like this, y'all. This is like a cave network of underground warehouses. I'm picking up a load in Springfield, Missouri. Yo, I never seen no shit like this. This is crazy. I'm in a fucking big ass underground cave system with like 25 warehouses in this bitch. Like, what is the reason for this? Like, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy, y'all.
Just a quick update. It's Saturday, I believe, and here's the truck I've been driving for the last few days for Wilson Logistics. This trailer just was assigned to us from Kraft over at the Kraft Foods plant, and we're delivering it here to what's called the Springfield Underground. And that is, as you can see behind me, this giant cave that's big enough to house hundreds of these trucks and trailers. There's a train track running through here. Just to give you an idea, back here there's a regular sized truck. See how tall that is up there? It's just incredible. Anyway, having a great time, learning lots. Talk to you soon.
So the common explanation for these underground storage facilities is that over in Missouri and these other places where they're located, that these are great underground locations because of how cool they are, and just the makeup, the mineral makeup of these caves make it easier to store things down there, which is, I'm sure on some level it's somewhat true. But Esau's never going to come out and say, "Oh, this is the network where we actually input food and distribute it to these underground bases." Because again, these underground bases that you see, these dumps, they're not empty, right? They're not just there sitting all plastic wrapped and ready to be used when they eventually need to be used. No, there's active people working within the government that live and operate in these locations 24/7, and those people need to be fed. They need to run the government, because again, the government that we see on TV, where with Biden and all the Congress and Senate, that's one aspect of the government that really runs Babylon the Great. There is a second government that's in the background that do not get elected, that they don't come and go, they stay and they run, right? They stay and run things, and this has been testified by many politicians and investigators that have backed this up. Well, where are they at? Well, you're looking at it. These are the locations where they stay at, right? So movies like The Silo, the Ember City, games like Fallout, and all these things, what these are, they're simply just mimicking reality, right? The reality that Esau, when I say Esau, I'm talking about these Caucasians, which are very comfortable living underground, as that's what the term Caucasians refer to, right? Caucasians means cave dweller, right? These people eventually, their homeland back in Jordan was in Petra, which is amongst the rocks, okay? And when they retreated back for 1,000 years up into the Caucasus Mountains, where they get their namesake from, their modern day namesake, I should say, that was also in the clefts of the rocks. And if you look at where the elites, they basically dwell at, they dwell right at the highest point of the mountains of Europe, which is Switzerland, okay? The Matterhorn and all that place, right there. Why do you think that place is so pristine? And when you look at Switzerland, it's like the highest amount of underground bunkers is in that country, right? And that's because these Edomites, this is their go-to, natural inclination to go into the rocks, right? Because this is just their character. But what does the scripture say? This is Revelation 6 and 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, And the chief captains and the mighty men and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right? Not these people of the world, right? Especially not these Edomites, right? Because they've reveled themselves and built themselves up in the wickedness of this world, in the wickedness of the left side. So they're definitely not going to be able to stand, before the Lord, right? And this is why they're ultimately putting their faith, right, their future into their own hands by trying to build these underground bases, right? Get the whole idea out to the population, right? That these underground bases are a way to save themselves. And again, this is nothing new, as the scriptures say. There's nothing new under the sun, right? When you go into the land of Turkey, there's a section there's a city over there. Not even a city. It's basically it's a huge underground like caves and stuff and dwellings that existed over there. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. It's the city is called Derinkuru Underground City in modern day Turkey, right? And when you look at it, it's all these vast underground tunnels, and it's a lot bigger than just what you're seeing here in this image. But the story goes is that one day a villager from this Turkey village was excavating his basement, and a wall caved in, and ultimately it opened up to these. He was opened up to these large underground rooms, and he started to explore it, and they found just this huge city, right? And these cities here, they're so old, and the technology there is a lot of it can't be explained, and there's no record of it. But really, when you get into this area, this is really just the Adamites, basically. Before the Lord came and destroyed everything, this is when this is. Basically, they're dating this back to about 11,000 years, or 11,000 to 12 to 13,000 years, right? So basically, the time of the Adamites when the first destruction came. So even back then, humanity looked to go underground for salvation, right? Here's images from this city, what it looks like. You go and visit it today, right? There's some tourists there, right? They have these are basically like doors that you could roll into place, right? All these things, right? These are ovens and doors to go down. But again, this is ultimately the future that these Edomites are seeking, man. They're looking to go into these underground bases, right? And they're even thinking of just living down there, right? This is why you're seeing shows like this. So either way, Akim, I thought this video was interesting. Thought a lot of you would get kicks with the 144 here, so hopefully it was edifying. So until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahawah, Bashem, Yahawashi, Bashem, Qadash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.